The calculated defeat. The crystalline spires of the Galactic Supremacy Council pierced the void like needles threading through black silk. Inside the Grand Chamber, 7 of the most powerful species in known space had gathered to discuss what they considered a minor administrative task: the subjugation of Earth. Commander Velthar of the Syrian Empire adjusted his cybernetic appendages as holographic displays materialized around the circular table. His species had conquered star systems for millennia, their tactical algorithms predicting victory with 99.97% accuracy. Today's target seemed almost insultingly simple. Esteemed colleagues, Velthar's synthesized voice resonated through the chamber. Our scouts have completed their assessment of the human homeworld. The results are amusing. The holographic display shifted to show Earth, a blue marble suspended in space, surrounded by what the aliens considered laughably primitive defenses, orbital platforms that looked like children's toys compared to Syrian dreadnoughts, nuclear weapons that might as well have been fireworks against their shield technology. Ambassador Kretak of the Vortanian Collective rippled her gelatinous form in what passed for laughter among her kind. They still use chemical propulsion for most of their spacecraft. Our analysis indicates their military communications rely on electromagnetic signals that a junior technician could intercept and decode. The Zephyrian representative, a being of pure energy contained within a humanoid shell, pulsed with amusement. Their most advanced AI struggles with tasks our children solve for entertainment. They haven't even achieved consciousness transfer technology. Velthar activated another display, showing Earth's military installations. Our tactical computers have run 4.7 million simulations. In every scenario, Earth falls within 3.2 standard hours. Their resistance will be educational for our military academies. The council members exchanged what could be interpreted as smirks across species barriers. The mechanoids calculated profit margins from Earth's resources. The crystalline hegemony discussed which monuments they would preserve as curiosities. The void-touched contemplated how human neural patterns would integrate into their collective consciousness. Shall we send the standard ultimatum? Proposed High Orchestrator Zilmex of the Harmony of Spheres, their melodious voice creating subtle harmonics that influenced the emotional states of other species. Surrender within one solar rotation, or face complete subjugation. Agreed, Velthar confirmed, though I doubt they'll take it seriously. Our intelligence suggests humans have a peculiar psychological trait they call optimism. They actually believe they can overcome statistically impossible odds. The council erupted in various forms of laughter. The felinoids purred with amusement. The silicon-based architects vibrated at frequencies that shattered nearby decorative crystals. Even the normally stoic temporal weavers allowed themselves a slight fluctuation in their probability fields. As the ultimatum was transmitted toward Earth, none of them noticed the small detail their advanced sensors had dismissed as irrelevant. The unusual energy signatures emanating from human entertainment systems, social media networks, and something called gaming servers. After all, what threat could leisure activities pose to the greatest military alliance in galactic history? General Marcus Reeves stood in the underground command center of the United Earth Defense Force, surrounded by screens displaying the alien message. Unlike his alien counterparts, he wasn't looking at tactical displays or weapon systems. Instead, he was studying something far more interesting: social media analytics. "Sir, the internet is going crazy," Lieutenant Sarah Chen reported, her fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. "The memes are already spreading faster than our emergency broadcast systems." Reeves allowed himself a small smile. "What's the current count?" "Over 50 million aliens done goofed memes in the first hour. The Hold My Beer response videos are trending globally. And someone's already started a crowdfunding campaign to, quote, buy the aliens a sense of humor." The general turned to his team of advisors, a deliberately diverse group that included not just military strategists, but psychologists, comedians, gamers, and even a few social media influencers. This was humanity's real defense council, and none of them looked particularly worried. Dr. Nakamura, what's your assessment of their psychological profile? The xenopsychologist adjusted her glasses, suppressing a grin. Classic superiority complex combined with complete technological dependence. They've become so reliant on their computers and algorithms that they've forgotten the most dangerous weapon in the universe. And that is human creativity. When we're backed into a corner, or as the internet is putting it, they're about to find out why we have Geneva Conventions. The room erupted in controlled laughter. Reeves brought up the tactical display, but instead of showing military assets, it displayed Earth's true defensive network. Millions of gamers who had spent decades perfecting strategies against impossible odds, hackers who treated unbreakable security as a personal challenge, and engineers who had learned to fix spaceships with duct tape and determination. Colonel Martinez, status on Operation Get Good. The cyber warfare specialist's eyes gleamed with anticipation. Ready to deploy, sir. We've got 10,000 of our best gamers ready to introduce the aliens to concepts like rage quitting and tactical teabagging. The speedrunning community is particularly excited. They're treating this as the ultimate challenge run. And the conventional forces, playing their role perfectly, sir, making just enough show of force to keep the aliens focused on traditional warfare while we prepare the real surprise. Reeves nodded, studying the countdown timer. Humanity had less than 20 hours to respond to the ultimatum. More than enough time. Send our response, he ordered. Which version, sir? The diplomatic one, the defiant one, or send the Rickroll. Chen's fingers flew across the controls. Video message transmitted, sir. Estimated time until alien confusion. 30 seconds. Around the world, humanity prepared for war in the most human way possible. Pizza delivery services reported record orders to military installations. Gaming tournaments were hastily reorganized as training exercises. Someone had already designed merchandise with "I survived the alien invasion of 2157 printed on it. In space, the alien armada maintained perfect formation, their continent-sized dreadnoughts casting shadows across Earth's moon. Their tactical computers continued to run simulations, each one confirming the inevitable outcome. They had no classification in their databases for what was about to hit them. The response arrived at the Galactic Supremacy Council exactly as scheduled. Velthar activated the communication system, expecting either terrified surrender or pointless defiance. The other council members leaned forward in anticipation. The screen flickered to life, displaying what appeared to be a human male with unusual orange-tinted hair performing a primitive acoustic musical piece. The universal translator struggled with the words, "Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down." Silence filled the chamber. "Is this their surrender ceremony?" asked Ambassador Kretak, her gelatinous form quivering with confusion. Velthar's cybernetic implants whirred as he processed the data. "Unknown. Our cultural databases have no reference for this ritual. Perhaps it's a form of psychological warfare." The video continued playing. The human male engaged in what appeared to be ritualistic movement patterns. Dancing, the translator suggested, while the song's lyrics promised eternal commitment and faithfulness. "They're pledging allegiance to us," suggested the Zephyrian representative. "The words speak of never abandoning or disappointing us." High Orchestrator Zilnex's harmonic analysis detected something else. The musical pattern is infectious. It seems designed to embed itself in neural pathways. I find myself involuntarily anticipating the next verse. The temporal weavers reported strange fluctuations in probability streams. The mechanoids detected no hidden weapon signatures in the signal. The void touched sensed nothing but pure, inexplicable human emotion. "Enough," Velthar commanded, terminating the transmission. "Whatever primitive ritual this represents, it changes nothing. Begin the invasion." The order cascaded through the Armada. Thousands of warships began their descent toward Earth, their weapons charging, their shields at maximum. The greatest military force in galactic history moved with perfect synchronization, ready to end human independence in hours. As they descended, more signals began arriving from Earth. Each ship's communication array was bombarded with thousands of messages. Images of small cats in humorous situations, videos of humans injuring themselves in absurd accidents, something called rage comics that defied all logical interpretation. "Sir," reported one of Velthar's tactical officers, "the humans appear to be sending us their entire cultural database, but it consists primarily of entertainment content. Ignore it. They're obviously panicking, broadcasting randomly in desperation. Focus on the primary targets." The Armada continued its descent, passing through Earth's outer orbital defenses without incident. The human ships didn't even attempt to fire, instead transmitting more of the bizarre content. But something was beginning to happen throughout the fleet. Crew members were starting to display unusual behaviors. A Xerian navigator was caught watching compilations of humans falling downstairs. A Vortanian weapons officer had become obsessed with videos of small Earth creatures called puppies. The crystalline hegemony's tactical computers were somehow running a primitive human game involving colored blocks falling from the sky. Maintain discipline. Velthar broadcast to his fleet. These are merely the death throes of a primitive. He was interrupted by an urgent alert from his cyber warfare division. "Commander, we're detecting massive infiltration of our systems. But it's not malicious code. It's something called Minecraft. Our combat AI is trying to build a house out of cubic blocks." Before Velthar could respond, every screen in the Armada flickered. The human general appeared, sitting casually in what looked like a command center. But behind him, instead of military personnel, were individuals in colorful costumes, oversized headsets, and what appeared to be recreational beverage containers. "Greetings, Galactic Supremacy Council," General Reeves said, his tone frustratingly calm. "I'm afraid we're going to have to decline your generous offer of subjugation. You see, we've been preparing for this moment since we invented science fiction. And there's something you should know about humans." He paused, taking a slow sip from a cup labeled "World's Best Space Dad." "We don't just think outside the box. We fold the box into origami cranes, set them on fire, and use the ashes to draw rude pictures of authority figures. You've brought superior technology to a creativity fight. And that, my friends, is what we humans call a pro-gamer move." The transmission cut out, replaced by something called a Twitch stream, showing millions of humans apparently controlling the alien fleet systems while providing colorful commentary and requesting likes and subscribes. Commander Velthar stared at his displays in growing horror. His tactical algorithms were screaming errors. The invasion time had elapsed from 3.2 hours to incalculable. And somewhere in the background, that infernal song continued to play. "Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down." The universe's most advanced military force had just discovered humanity's secret weapon. The power of being absolutely, creatively, brilliantly ridiculous in the face of certain doom. The war was far from over. In fact, it had barely begun. But already the Galactic Supremacy Council was learning what countless human gamers knew by heart. Never underestimate the noobs. They might just be crazy enough to win. The unexpected victory. Commander Velthar's perfect tactical formations were dissolving faster than sugar in rain. What had started as a textbook invasion had devolved into something his million-year-old military traditions had no protocol for: complete and utter chaos. "Sir, the dreadnought Inevitable Victory is reporting." "Sir, they're reporting that their main weapons array is currently playing something called Darude, Sandstorm, at maximum volume." "That's impossible. Our weapons systems have 57 layers of quantum encryption. The humans appear to have bypassed them using something called a USB rubber ducky and social engineering. The security chief apparently gave them the passwords in exchange for pictures of Earth cats wearing tiny hats." Across the Armada, similar reports flooded in. The pride of Syrian's fleet, the Annihilator-class vessel Cosmic Devastation, had somehow been convinced to participate in what humans called a flash mob, performing synchronized movements to an Earth song about doing the Macarena. The Vortanian flagship was stuck in an infinite loop trying to divide by zero after a 13-year-old human convinced its AI that this would grant it enlightenment. The real turning point came from an incident so absurd that military historians would debate its authenticity for centuries: the coffee break incident. Lieutenant Sarah Chen had noticed something interesting in the alien fleet's behavioral patterns. "Sir, I think they have mandatory efficiency breaks. Every 6.7 hours, their entire command structure pauses operations for exactly 12 minutes. General Reeves raised an eyebrow. "All of them?" "At the same time. It appears to be hard-coded into their protocols. Something about preventing decision fatigue in their organic components." A slow smile spread across the general's face. "Chen, what's the most psychologically disruptive thing we could do during those 12 minutes? "Well, sir, the internet suggests a rickroll, but this time with every single communication frequency we can access, combined with what they're calling aggressive wholesomeness." "Do it." When the Galactic Supremacy Council's mandatory efficiency break arrived, every screen, speaker, and communication device across their entire fleet simultaneously activated. But instead of the expected tactical updates, they were bombarded with an orchestrated assault of human culture at its most bewildering. Rick Astley appeared on main screens, but he was now accompanied by a full orchestra of humans playing unusual instruments: kazoos, theremins, and something called an automaton. Behind them, thousands of humans held up signs with messages like, "You're doing great," and "We believe in you," and "Have you hydrated today?" The aliens' translation matrices nearly overloaded trying to process the cognitive dissonance. How could a species simultaneously threaten their existence while expressing concern for their fluid intake? But the masterstroke was yet to come. As the performance reached its crescendo, the human general appeared in a small window in the corner of each screen, speaking directly to the alien crews. "We know you're just following orders," Reeves said compassionately. "But ask yourselves, when was the last time your leaders asked if you were happy? We've been monitoring your communications. 16-hour shifts. No recreational time. Mandatory efficiency protocols. That's no way to live." The Xerian crew members glanced at each other uncertainly. The Vortanian collective consciousness rippled with unprecedented individual thoughts. Even the mechanical crystalline hegemony's units began processing the concept of work-life balance. "Join us," Reeves continued. "We have something called casual Fridays, paid vacation time, coffee breaks whenever you want them, not when an algorithm demands it. And have you ever tried pizza? We'll share pizza." Commander Velthar watched helplessly as discipline crumbled across his fleet. A mechanoid unit was attempting to learn the Cupid Shuffle. 3 Zephyrian energy beings had formed what appeared to be a book club. His own bridge crew were passing around human memes and making sounds that resembled laughter. "Maintain formation," he broadcast desperately. "Remember your training, your oath to the supremacy." But it was too late. The humans had deployed their ultimate weapon, the power of positive absurdity. Every threatening action by the aliens was met not with fear or aggression, but with increasingly creative silliness. When the Vortanian fleet fired warning shots, human ships responded by creating a laser-like show that spelled out, "You too," across the void. When the Xerian Empire's feared psionic corps attempted to break human minds, they found themselves trapped in an endless loop of Baby Shark, performed by enthusiastic toddlers. The temporal weavers tried to manipulate causality, only to discover that humans had somehow already won the war yesterday, were winning it today, and would win it tomorrow, simultaneously. The breaking point came when a junior communications officer on the Xerian flagship, later identified as Zix-47, sent an unauthorized message to Earth. "How does one get gut, as you say? Asking for a friend." The response was immediate and overwhelming. Thousands of humans volunteered to coach alien crews in everything from competitive gaming to interpretive dance. Tutorial videos flooded the alien networks. Support groups formed with names like Recovering Supremacists and Wholesome Warriors Anonymous. On the Galactic Supremacy Council's command vessel, chaos reigned. The felinoid representatives had discovered cat videos and refused to look at anything else. The silicon-based architects were obsessively playing Minecraft, claiming it was research into primitive construction techniques. The Void-Touched had become addicted to human social media, their collective consciousness now primarily concerned with acquiring followers and likes. High Orchestrator Zilnex's harmonic communication trembled with uncertainty. Commander Velthar, our predictive models show a 97% probability that continued engagement will result in what? In our entire civilization wanting to just vibe with the humans. They're already setting up something called a galactic gaming tournament, and our crews are excited about it. Velthar's cybernetic implants sparked with overload as he processed the impossible scenario. His species had conquered worlds through superior firepower, advanced technology, and ruthless efficiency. But the humans had conquered them through memes, kindness, and the irresistible urge to see what would happen next. The final blow came from the least expected source. The Council's ultimate weapon, a planet-destroying beam that had ended civilizations, powered up for one last desperate attempt to restore order. But when they fired it at Earth, something unprecedented happened. The beam hit Earth's atmosphere and was somehow refracted into a massive display of aurora-like lights that pulsed in rhythm with music. The humans had turned Doomsday into the galaxy's largest rave. Ships from both sides began pulsing their lights in sync, creating a light show visible from neighboring star systems. General Reeves appeared on screen one final time, now wearing sunglasses indoors and holding what appeared to be a glow stick. Commander Velthar, you've got two choices. Keep fighting, and we'll keep getting weirder. And trust me, you haven't seen weird yet. We haven't even deployed the furries, the LARPers, or the people who argue about pineapple on pizza. Or, he paused for dramatic effect. You could surrender, join the party, and help us plan the first Galactic Comedy Festival. We've already got the mechanoids working on the stage lights. The Vortanians are handling catering. Turns out they make excellent bubble tea. And someone signed you up for the karaoke competition. Velthar looked around his bridge. His tactical officer was teaching the Zephyrian energy being how to perform the dab. His weapons specialist was engaged in something called shipping wars regarding fictional characters. His navigation computer was running a screensaver of bouncing human heads known as Trollface. The greatest military strategist in Syrian history made the only logical decision available. He opened a direct channel to Earth, cleared his throat, or the closest equivalent his species could manage, and spoke the words that would echo through galactic history. We surrender, but I have conditions. Name them, Reeves replied, barely suppressing his grin. First, you will teach us this pizza technology. Second, we want access to your entertainment networks. And third, Velthar hesitated, his rigid military bearing finally cracking. Could someone explain what a dank meme is? My crew keeps referencing them, and I feel very out of touch. The cheer that erupted from Earth was said to be detectable by radio telescopes in distant galaxies. Within hours, the fearsome invasion fleet had transformed into the galaxy's most unusual cultural exchange program. Xyrian warriors were learning to play Dungeons and Dragons. Vortanian collectives were forming rock bands. The crystalline hegemony had discovered speedrunning and were determined to hold the galaxy record in getting over it with Bennett Foddy. The Galactic Supremacy Council held one final emergency session, though it was barely recognizable as the same austere body that had authorized the invasion. Ambassador Kretak's gelatinous form now sported a Hawaiian shirt pattern. The temporal weavers were wearing what they called temporal party hats that existed in all time streams simultaneously. Fellow counselors, Velthar began, his cybernetic voice now capable of expressing what humans called chill vibes. I motion that we formally acknowledge humanity's victory and petition for membership in what they're calling the United Federation of Peoples, who are pretty cool. Seconded, shouted the felinoid representative, who was wearing a collar with a bell that played the Doom soundtrack. The vote was unanimous, though the formal documentation was delayed when someone started a heads-up 7-up game during the signing ceremony. In his final military report, Velthar wrote, "We came to conquer Earth with superior technology and overwhelming force. We were defeated by rubber chickens, dad jokes, and the inexplicable human ability to make anything, even galactic invasion, fun. Humanity's greatest weapon is not their nuclear arsenal or their surprising adaptability. It is their fundamental refusal to take anything too seriously, including themselves. They predicted our defeat in ours. They were wrong. It took precisely 127 minutes from first contact to complete cultural victory. In the end, we didn't lose a war. We gained 7 billion new friends who are definitely, as they say, built different. Recommendation for future contact protocols. Approach with caution, bring snacks, and be prepared to explain your favorite movie. Under no circumstances attempt to out-weird the humans. It is not possible." 6 months later, the first Galactic Comedy Festival was held on the renovated Syrian dreadnought now called the Cosmic Joke. General Reeves and Commander Velthar co-hosted the opening ceremony, which began with the entire assembled fleet performing the Cha-Cha slide in perfect synchronization. As the festivities began, with species from across the galaxy sharing their interpretations of humor, the crystalline hegemony's stand-up routine about database optimization was surprisingly hilarious. Velthar turned to Reeves with what passed for a smile among his kind. "You know, I've analyzed all possible scenarios, and I still can't determine if your species' victory was brilliant strategy or pure chaotic luck." Reeves grinned, raising his glass of Vortanian bubble tea. "That's the beauty of it, Commander. Neither can we. But hey, it worked out, didn't it?" Above them, the stars shone brightly on a galaxy forever changed by the day humanity proved that sometimes the best way to win a war is to make everyone forget why they were fighting in the first place. And somewhere in the void, that ancient song continued to echo, "Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down." The Galactic Supremacy Council had learned the hard way that when humans say, "We come in peace," what they really mean is, "We come in memes." And somehow, impossibly, that made all the difference. As the festival continued into the night, with species that had never communicated now sharing jokes and stories, one truth became crystal clear. The universe would never be the same again. And that, everyone agreed, was absolutely hilarious.